Had no need to fight tonight.
What is going on, guys? Evgeny here, back again with another YouTube video, and today we're returning to a video that we did last year, talking about 7 bounce back candidates for the 2021-2022 season. A lot of players this season had down years, whether it was because of the COVID, whether it was because of the shortened season, or maybe it was just plain bad luck. We're going to look at 7 of them today, and we're going to look at whether they can or can't bounce back this coming season. But first off, if you're new to the channel and have not already subscribed, please make sure to do so. I really would appreciate it. We're getting super close to 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into the video. Now, first off, before we can go look at the bounce back candidates for this season, we're going to go look back at last season's candidates that I had. So I had a total of 7 players here, and you can argue that only one of them bounced back. Now, here are my guys. Clayton Keller for the Arizona Coyotes, Alex DeBrusk for the Chicago Blackhawks, Matt Duchene for the Nashville Predators, Matt Murray for now the Ottawa Senators, Victor Arvidsson for the Nashville Predators, Cam Atkinson for the Philadelphia Flyers, and Erik Karlsson for the San Jose Sharks. So obviously Atkinson's been traded over to Philadelphia. Murray's over in Ottawa now. A couple of these guys have gotten dealt out, but I would say the only guy out of all those guys that really had a solidified bounce-back season was forward Alex DeBrusk. DeBrusk played very well last season, and he's not on the bounce-back candidates list for this year, obviously. Now, the thing is with me, I tried to include players that weren't on it last year, so you're going to see some new guys here, especially since guys like, Matt Duchene, Arvidsson, they didn't have bounce-back seasons, so it would be pretty obvious by default to put them into the bounce-back candidates for this year, but I decided to mix it up a little bit and put in some new dudes. So if you don't know me, I am a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and it would be absolutely wrong if I don't put Carter Hart number 1 on the list. He is the number 1 bounce-back candidate in almost every single hockey fan's minds. He came in 2019-20 as that one goalie to really put the Flyers over the hump. And honestly, he really did. He had a 24-13-3 record in 2019-20 with us, and he was very superior in the playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens and against the team that we lost to in the second round, the New York Islanders. So things could only go up for Carter Hart, or so we thought, until 2020-2021 headed around, where he had a 9-11-5 record. Now, there's a lot of factors that play into this. There's a lot of factors that play into the Carter Hart thing. You could argue it's the blue line. The blue line was just god-awful. There was just nothing rolling there. Provorov wasn't the Provorov we usually see him as. Gostisbehere was bad as usual. Myers wasn't that good. I almost said Ellis. Sanheim wasn't that good. You had Nate Prosser on the third pairing at times. Like, the blue line was just not that good. And I think with the Flyers' moves that they made this offseason, acquiring guys like Ryan Ellis, Rasmus Dahlin, and Keith Yandel, guys that I think can definitely improve this blue line, I think Carter Hart is not only that, but he is definitely prone for a bounce-back season. For this next guy, we're going to travel over to the city of Vegas, where we're seeing a player playing on his 3rd team in the past 3 seasons, forward Evgeny Dadnov. Now, Dadnov is interesting for me because he has the goal-scoring capability. In 2019-20 with the Florida Panthers, he had 25 goals, 22 assists for 47 points. A very solid season overall. He heads over to the Ottawa Senators, signing I think a 4-year contract, if I'm not mistaken. And he would look at it to be a very solid player. He was looking to put up maybe 25, 30 goals a season. Like, he was capable for that. For, a Senators team that, was up and coming. They weren't expected to make the playoffs, but they were at least expected to do well. And Dadnov just was not that. He had 13 goals, 7 assists for 20 points overall. And that is just not going to cut it for a guy who is a 25-goal scorer. Of course, this offseason, he was dealt over to the Vegas Golden Knights for Nick Holden. So it's very interesting to see what he is going to do with the Golden Knights. And there's many factors that play into him as well, because you could have argued, it was the Sens being bad that made him bad. Or you could argue, it was just him not playing to the level of his contract. So there's a lot of factors that play into Dadnov. But I think nonetheless, with Vegas' deep core, I think Dadnov is like a guy like Matthias Janmark, who comes in and can maybe upgrade the offensive scoring talent that Vegas has. Moving on to my 3rd guy, we're going to travel over to the city of Calgary, Alberta. We're going to talk about my boy, Sean Monahan. So Monahan's interesting for me. In 2019-20, he had 22 goals, 26 assists for 48 points. That's not even his ceiling at that. I think he can be even better than that to a degree. I think he honestly could be. He could be a 25, 30 goal scorer at his ceiling, honestly. And I think Monahan, being probably that first line center for Calgary, he should not have put up the numbers he did this season. 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points. Just not going to cut it. Honestly, is not going to cut it. So obviously, the thing is with him, Calgary was not very good last season, so that's a factor that plays into it. But I think Monahan can definitely be better. He's also been in trade rumors, so it's very possible he gets dealt out of Calgary at some point this coming season if Calgary isn't the team that, we see them to be. It's definitely possible. But, he is prone for a bounce back, so I definitely have to include him in here. Moving on now to the capital of the USA, we're going to discuss a prime goal scorer in Alex Ovechkin. Now, you can argue Ovechkin didn't have a down season, but when you look at his goal totals, I'm going to definitely argue that. He had 48 goals in 2019-20, 19 assists for 67 points. That is how Ovechkin's supposed to be. Not like how he was in 2020-2021, where he had 24 goals, 18 assists for 42 points. No, I still think Ovechkin in his prime is a 50-point scorer, so I definitely put him in the bounce back category. But I definitely think that Ovechkin's definitely going to have that bounce back year, obviously. I can't imagine he doesn't. He is Ovechkin. There's nothing else to say about it. He's the prime goal scorer. He is likely to pass the Ovi record. So it's more than likely that he has a bounce back year. There really is nothing else to it. At number 5 here, we're going to go back to Western Canada and look at Vancouver, where we're going to discuss defenseman Quinn Hughes. So Quinn Hughes, we've discussed a lot of times lately on the channel, whether it's his contract, whether it's this team in general, whether it's anything in that remarks. So in 2019-20, Quinn Hughes had 8 goals, 45 assists for 53 points. That is where the level he's supposed to be. This season, he just wasn't that. 3 goals, 38 assists for 41 points. The thing is with Quinn Hughes, he is god-awful defensively. It's not even the point remarks that he needs to improve on. It's his defense. He needs to improve defensively. And that is the biggest struggle when you look at Quinn Hughes. The biggest struggle. And you see him just turnovering the puck after turnovering the puck. And that's not going to work for a defender like him. You need to be good on both sides of the game. So that's what I think about Quinn Hughes. And I think he's definitely prone for a bounce back year. And in that remarks, and not only in that remark, but offensively as well. He is capable of a 50, 60-point year coming out of a defenseman. Moving on to my 6th bounce back candidate, we're going to go back to Vegas, where the thing is with me, this guy is the most interesting player here. And he is definitely the most prone for a bounce back because I think he's bound to have something go his way at some point. We're going to look at forward Nolan Patrick today, as well as that. I also have his jersey somewhere. I think it's that one right there. I'm not too sure. I didn't put that one up either. He missed 2019-20 due to migraine issues, and that was the big problem with him. Everyone was discussing, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? Is he going to lose his prime? He wasn't exactly the best forward before that to go second overall. He kind of is a bust in Philly's remarks, especially when you look at guys like Peterson and McCarr and guys that went after him, obviously. So it does look like kind of a bust, but he was still looking to be a solid second overall player who had something to prove. And he just could not in 2020-2021, where he played 52 games, had 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. That is not tolerable. I'm sorry. I don't care if you missed due to migraines. That is not tolerable. Now, you got to look at Patrick here. Patrick never played with Vigneault. Vigneault came in 2019-20, played his first season with the team. Obviously, the team did very well. Now, this year, of course, Patrick's playing with a new coach. He didn't like him at all, so it was looking like he was going to request a trade. And then Ryan Ellis happened. So Ryan Ellis got dealt to Philadelphia. The Flyers dealt Patrick and Myers over to Nashville. Patrick got flipped over to Vegas for Cody Glass from Nashville. So, like Evgeny Dadnov, I think Patrick can definitely be a player where with Vegas' increased depth, I think he is prone for a bounce-back year. No doubt in my mind. And last, but certainly not least, we're going to go over to Buffalo, where, why are we talking about bounce-back candidates, honestly, for Buffalo? But anyways, we're going to go look at Rasmus Dahlin, defenseman for the team. He was our first overall pick in 2018, and he just did not have a good year. Last season, in 2019-20, he had 4 goals, 36 assists for 40 points. That is pretty solid. Pretty solid for a team that, wasn't very good. They didn't make the playoffs. They just barely missed out of the 2014 format at the time. So he looked pretty solid. And this year, he just fell off. And not only offensively, but he also fell off defensively as well. Weirdly, he had more goals than last year, 5 goals, 18 assists for 23 points. Obviously, did not have the year that everyone expected him to have. Everyone expected Buffalo to do at least somewhat better than what they did. But obviously, it just was not a good year for him offensively, and it wasn't a good year for him defensively. Now, I'm not saying Buffalo is going to be a great team next season, but I think Dahlin should definitely improve on the defense, should definitely improve on the offense as well, at least by a little bit. And honestly, I feel like he is one of those guys that, maybe he doesn't bounce back, but honestly, it is possible that he does. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Honorable mention to Jake DeBrusk. That would be a big one that I missed out on. Obviously, I probably could have put him in a guy like Ovechkin or even a guy like Quinn Hughes, in all honesty. I could have replaced him with a couple of guys. But these were the 7 bounce back candidates that came to my mind. Let me know what you guys think. And thank y'all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.